So if you're a buyer in today's market, you want to watch this video because I'm going to give you 3 tips that are going to make you successful in buying in a hot seller's market like today. So if you're a buyer in today's market, I know you're experiencing a lot of multiple offers. You're seeing a lot of beautiful homes listed at a very low price, only seeing it sell for a lot higher. Now this can be really confusing, but I'm providing you 3 tips to get you on your way to home ownership sooner. Now the first tip is to be prepared. Understand what market you're buying in, as well as understand what type of homes that are fit in your budget and what those properties are selling for. The second tip is understand that we're in a seller's market. Traditional methods of negotiation may not apply in today's market. And number 3, know what makes an offer strong and understand that price isn't everything. Number 1, having a good understanding of what your budget can afford and where you could buy is really important to start the process. When I'm working with a buyer, I'm always trying to find out what is the best area and the type of home you could buy within that budget. Now this allows us to start the process and make the buying process a lot more efficient. We're no longer wasting time looking at properties that are just listed low, knowing that they're just going to be selling higher than what we can afford. So focusing on the properties that we can afford allows us to get into the market much sooner. Number 2, understanding that we are in a seller's market and the traditional methods of negotiation where buyers are negotiating on a lower price than what the sellers have listed for is no longer applicable. In a hot seller's market, we know that the sellers have expectations, sellers have a lot of information to come to that conclusion of what their home is worth, and they understand how hot the market is by looking at what their neighbors have sold for and what all their friends and family are telling them how hot the market is. So trying to negotiate a lower price is going to be very difficult and very unrealistic in today's market. What you want to know is what is the seller's expectations when it comes down to value, and how can you make an offer that is most ideal for them to accept. And number 3, what makes an offer strong? As a buyer, you have to understand price isn't everything. To a seller, there's many variables in that offer that sellers are going to be looking at in order to determine the strength of your offer. So not only are they looking at price, they're also looking at the number of conditions or maybe the lack of conditions in that offer. They're also looking at the closing date to see if it's ideal for them, and they're also looking at the amount of deposit. If you're able to strengthen all the variables in that agreement, obviously you're going to attract the seller, but not all of them have to be ideal for the clients to accept. So if you're a buyer in today's hot market, you want to keep these 3 tips in mind. Number 1, you want to know what you can afford and what that home looks like and where it's located. Number 2, you want to think like a seller. And number 3, you want to make sure that you know all the ways that you can strengthen your offer to make it more ideal for that seller.